Well, you didn't really expect Hillary Clinton to go away, did you? Well, she didn't, and today she delivered a commencement address at Wellesley College, where she went. Surprisingly, she gave the address herself rather than sending John Podesta to give it for her.
Hold it now.
You know, 4 years ago, maybe a little more or less, for some of you, this meant I've got to get a lozenge. Thank you. I told the trustees I was sitting with, after hearing Tala's speech, I didn't think I could get through it. So we'll blame allergy instead of emotion. But, you know, you arrived at this campus.
She has less energy than Jeb Bush. I've made it.
If Hillary Clinton is up for another presidential run, would that be a good thing for your party?
You know, look, you're asking something that we're not even first through the midterm election. She hasn't even declared for me to say that. That's like
I know, but that's the question. Do you think she should?
Well, it's not. I love you. It's not a good question. Okay, so the question is,
Why
it's
not?
not a good question.
She sounded like she could be a candidate again. Would you think that's a good idea? You're a party leader.
I happen to love Hillary, and I think she's full of energy, and I happen to think there's a lot of time between now and the presidential, and she has to decide whether that's in her heart. We have a lot of time between now and the presidential election of 2020. Hillary has a lot to offer. The core question is not whether I think she would be a good candidate, it's whether she wants to run. Because at the end of the day, the public's pretty smart. And if it's only going through the motion, they'll pick that up.
There is a full-fledged assault on truth and reason, drumming up rampant fear about undocumented immigrants, Muslims, minorities, the poor. Some are even denying things we see with our own eyes, like the size of crowds.
Meanwhile, the former candidate also gave an interview to New York Magazine conducted by fawning abortion activist Rebecca Traister. Whoa, what a puff piece it was. But interesting, throughout the whole thing, Clinton never says word one about her own culpability for losing the campaign. Instead, she spread the blame elsewhere. At one point, she says, quote, "What I was doing was working. I would have won had I not been subjected to the unprecedented attacks by Comey and the Russians, aided and abetted by the suppression of the vote, particularly in Wisconsin." That's right. She didn't visit Wisconsin once during the general election, but her poor showing there was because of voter suppression, the Russians, and Jim Comey. Also sexism.
Let me read a part of it. Quote, "Today's speech was a stark reminder why Hillary Clinton lost in 2016. Instead of lashing out with the same partisan talking points, Hillary Clinton would be wise to look inward, talk about why she lost, and expand the dwindling base of Democratic Party supporters. We won't hold our breath."
What she said may be as well as it might be considered a preview for her next run for something. Watch.
We were furious about the past presidential election of a man whose presidency would eventually end in disgrace with his impeachment for obstruction of justice.
That someone with the temperament of Donald Trump is not in charge of the law in our country.
Because you'd be in jail.
Secretary Clinton.
I'm not talking about Hillary Clinton.
But I'm
talking about President Trump.
But what I'm saying yesterday, what frustrated me with Republicans...
That's not what I'm asking you about right now.
But what I'm saying is, Friend was a bad hire. No need to waste political capital defending him. Hillary Clinton and her relationship with Putin.
We're going to move on.
Hillary Clinton
has nothing to do with
not in office.
You know what?
She is at her office in Midtown working on We're Together.
To our national security interests.
Why are we talking about Hillary Clinton? Let's focus on the issue that happened yesterday.
If you want to talk about collusion with Russia, Look at the Clintons. 145 million.
Stay on topic.
Anytime a defender of Donald Trump mentions Hillary Clinton, he has lost the argument already, because that isn't the argument. I mean, my God, it's really...
What I'm saying is the evidence of any collusion in 2016 and before between Russia and any entity, we actually have proof that there were deals struck, money flowing into the foundation, the uranium deal, all that stuff, and now we're spinning up all these tales that I don't think there is any proof for, and there will never be proof for.
Well, I hope you bet all the money in your bank account.
I probably will.
Okay.
Tails.